Ever wondered why some people seem to sail through life's storms while others are swept away? Today we embark on the journey of understanding the Stoic mindset, a philosophy that has been the anchor for many in turbulent times. Stoicism, a school of Hellenistic philosophy, was founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BC. It's not just a theoretical concept, but a practical guide to life, teaching us how to remain tranquil in the face of adversity. The Stoic mindset, in essence, is about understanding what we can control and accepting what we cannot, thereby leading us to peace and contentment. But how does this ancient philosophy hold up in the face of a real storm? Let's look at the story of a famous Stoic philosopher, Zeno of Citium. It's said that Zeno was once on a ship that got caught in a violent storm. While others panicked, Zeno remained calm, his tranquility rooted in his Stoic beliefs. He understood that he could not control the storm, but he could control his reaction to it. His calm amidst chaos didn't come from denial of danger, but from acceptance. He knew that panic and fear wouldn't change the situation, but would instead cloud his judgment. His Stoic mindset didn't just keep him calm, it kept him rational, allowing him to make clear decisions in a crisis. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but about not allowing them to overwhelm us. It teaches us to accept life's challenges and respond to them with wisdom and composure. It's a mindset that doesn't promise a life without storms, but offers a way to remain calm and rational when they come. Whether it's a literal storm at sea or a metaphorical one in our lives, the Stoic mindset can be our compass, guiding us through the tumultuous waves and leading us to the calm waters beyond. It reminds us that while we cannot control the storm, we can control our response to it. The Stoic mindset, a beacon of calm in the stormy seas of life. Think Stoicism is just for ancient philosophers? Think again. Stoicism is not merely a dusty relic of the past. It's a living, breathing philosophy as applicable today as it was 2,000 years ago. And the beauty of it is that it can be applied in the most mundane, everyday situations. Picture this. You're stuck in a traffic jam, late for an important meeting. The natural response, frustration, anger, maybe even some choice words for your fellow drivers. But here's where Stoicism comes into play. Instead of succumbing to these negative emotions, you could choose to see this situation as a test of your patience, an opportunity to cultivate calm in the face of adversity. You cannot control the traffic, but you can control your reaction to it. Or consider the scourge of modern life: work stress, deadlines looming, emails piling up, colleagues demanding your attention every other minute. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but again, Stoicism provides a way out. It teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to let go of what isn't. You can't control how many emails land in your inbox, but you can control how you manage your time and how you respond to those demands. There's also the Stoic principle of amor fati, or love of fate, which can be applied when life throws us a curveball. Lost your job, had a relationship end? These might seem like disasters in the moment, but Stoics would see them as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. They would embrace these events, not with resignation, but with a sense of acceptance and even enthusiasm. In these and countless other ways, Stoicism can be a practical guide for navigating the ups and downs of life. It's not about suppressing emotions or denying the realities of the world. It's about finding peace and stability amidst the chaos, about developing resilience and equanimity, about living in accordance with nature and reason. Stoicism, not just a philosophy but a practical guide for life's trials. What if the key to overcoming obstacles lies not in the world around us, but in our minds? This question brings us to the Stoic principle of perception. Stoicism teaches us that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments and perceptions of them. Consider the story of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. Once a successful merchant, Zeno suffered a shipwreck that cost him everything. Now, most people would perceive this as a devastating setback, but Zeno, he saw it as an opportunity. He turned to philosophy, studied under the best teachers of his time, and eventually founded one of the most influential schools of philosophy, Stoicism. Zeno's perception of his shipwreck wasn't that of a catastrophic failure, but a turning point that forced him to reevaluate his priorities and ultimately led him to his life's purpose. His perception transformed his loss into a gain, his failure into a stepping stone for greatness. This is the power of perception. The power to change our interpretation of events, to shift our focus from what's happening to us to how we can respond. It's the power to turn obstacles into opportunities, to turn setbacks into setups for comebacks. Perception is our internal lens, our personal filter through which we interpret the world. It dictates our emotional responses, our reactions, and ultimately our actions. And the beauty of it? It's wholly within our control. Remember, it is not things that upset us, but our judgment about things. The same event can be a disaster for one person and an opportunity for another. It all comes down to how we perceive it. So next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, how can I perceive this differently? What can I learn from this? How can this setback serve as a stepping stone towards my goals? Harness the power of perception. Use it to transform your challenges into opportunities, your setbacks into stepping stones, your failures into lessons. This is the Stoic way. This is the power of a resilient mind. Perception, the master key that unlocks the door to resilience. Can we truly control everything in our lives? The Stoic philosophy answers this with a resounding no, but it doesn't stop there. It goes on to teach us that there is power in accepting what we can't control and focusing our energy on what we can. Consider the story of Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher. He was born into slavery in the 1st century AD. His early life was marked by hardship and adversity, conditions he had no control over. Yet, he didn't let his circumstances define him. Instead, he focused on what he could control, his mind, his thoughts, and his reactions. He embraced his circumstances, used them as a tool for growth, and eventually gained his freedom. This wouldn't have been possible without his Stoic mindset of acceptance and control. Now, you might wonder, how does this apply to me? Well, let's take a moment to think about our lives. We all face situations that we wish we could change but can't. It could be the loss of a loved one, a career setback, or a global pandemic. These are circumstances beyond our control. Stoicism teaches us to accept these situations as they are, not as we wish them to be. But acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it's about understanding that we can't control the world around us, but we can control how we respond to it. We can choose to let these circumstances crush us, or we can choose to rise above them. How do we rise above them? By focusing on what we can control. Our actions, our attitudes, our responses. These are the things within our control. These are the things that define us, not our circumstances, but our reactions to them. The Stoic philosophy is not about denying the realities of life. Instead, it's about embracing them, accepting them, and using them as stepping stones to growth and self-improvement. It's about finding the strength within ourselves to persevere, to endure, to thrive. Acceptance and control, the twin pillars of Stoicism. They remind us that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we react. And in that we find our power, our freedom, and ultimately our peace. Can Stoicism lead us to happiness? This question may seem a bit counterintuitive at first. After all, Stoicism is often associated with emotional restraint and a certain level of detachment. But let's delve deeper into the matter, shall we? Imagine a man named John. John, like many of us, had his fair share of struggles, disappointments, and heartbreaks. He was often overwhelmed by his circumstances and found himself ridden with anxiety and discontent. Then, John discovered Stoicism. Stoicism taught John that happiness doesn't lie in the external world, in the fleeting pleasures or in the validation from others. Rather, it is found within oneself, in the calm acceptance of what is and in the purposeful pursuit of virtue. John learned that life isn't about avoiding hardships, but about developing the resilience to face them. He learned to differentiate between things he could control and those he couldn't. He stopped wasting energy fretting over the uncontrollable, and instead focused on his actions, his responses, his virtue. He embraced the idea of amor fati, a love of fate, accepting all that life brings with grace and equanimity. He found strength in memento mori, a reminder of mortality, which taught him to treasure each moment, to live fully and authentically. As John walked the path of Stoicism, he noticed a profound shift in his life. He was no longer a puppet to his circumstances, but the master of his responses. He found a deep sense of contentment, not in the absence of struggles, but in his ability to navigate them with grace and dignity. John's story isn't unique. It's the story of countless individuals who have found a deeper, more enduring happiness through the principles of Stoicism. A happiness that isn't dependent on the whims of fortune, but rooted in inner strength and tranquility. So can Stoicism lead us to happiness? Well, it did for John, and it can for us too if we're willing to walk that path. It may not be the easiest journey, but it's a rewarding one. Stoicism, the road less traveled, leading to a destination called happiness.